very cold day in December 2000. At around 0100 hours, our infantry unit gathered in an emergency call. Put on our full gear, we headed to Dandong railway station. After a while, a train from Tianjin arrived. A few military officers and surgeons got off the train and talked with our captain. Our company was selected to escort the train, 2 soldiers for each carriage. Before getting on the train, we didn't know what was inside.
每当回想这件事情的时候，我的身心都好像经历一次痛苦的煎熬。我每次都不想去触碰。当我知道有那么多人可能被无辜的虐杀，我的良心实在不安。事情发生在上个世纪90年代，我当时是大连军学校即将毕业的学生，在沈阳陆军总院泌尿外科实习。有一天，医院突然接到一个电话，让我们去执行一项军事任务。医院出动了2辆经过改装的面包车，看到车上有带枪的士兵。我们的车内是全封闭的，一路上看不到太多外面的警车。驾车一看，周围有很多山，是一个军队的监狱。第2天早上，车开到一个旷野的地方，周围的士兵手里拿着冲锋枪，脸冲外站着。
My sister loved singing in her childhood and she danced well. When at the university, she was the leader of the school martial arts team. My parents were very satisfied with the marriage. Song Tao was a master student at the Ocean University of China located in Qingdao. He was amicable, cheerful, and cared about others.
Song Tao was about 5 feet 7 inches tall, with a neat, clean-cut appearance. His motorcycle always looked clean. We got together with him and others to share our experiences in our practices of Falun Gong. We newcomers didn't know the way, and he would volunteer to drive us home.
My brother-in-law studied practice Falun Gong in 1996. My sister started around 1997 or 1998. After that, she was much healthier. She had more energy, worked tirelessly, and was always happy. She sang almost every day. TFL Leather Technique GmbH has a branch in Qingdao City. She was the managing accountant there. Her positive changes inspired my mother to practice Falun Gong. Soon after she began practicing, her health greatly improved and she became more cheerful. I could see her happiness in each letter she wrote to me. Falun Gong made the 3 members in our family very happy. I was not a religious person. I didn't quite get why people were drawn to energy practices, but I respected the choices.
Falun Gong teaches truthfulness, compassion, and tolerance. The practitioners strive for a virtuous life and thus are well respected in society. Official statistics indicated that the number of practitioners was between 70 million and 100 million by the late 1990s, which surpassed the number of the Chinese Communist Party (CCP) membership. This led to the jealousy of the top leadership of the CCP. The CCP survives on lies, hatred, and violence. Therefore, it is not liked or trusted by the general public. While on the other hand, Falun Gong had become immensely popular. So the party launched a persecution campaign against practitioners, the goal being to force them to renounce the practice and to kill those who refuse to give it up.
In the evening of July 21st, our home was surrounded by police. At 4 a.m., Song Tao was taken away. He was one of the volunteer coordinators for Falun Gong practitioners in Qingdao City.
There was nothing in the criminal code that said it was an offense to be a Falun Gong practitioner. Jiang Zemin simply decreed that it was. It's a criminal offense now because I announced it as a criminal offense. He announced at the same time the goal was to eliminate them from Chinese society.
Song Tao was detained in a secret location for more than 20 days. After that, he was repeatedly arrested without due process. He was handcuffed behind his back to an iron chair. A police officer named Guo Quangong hit his head and face with shoes. Song Tao told me he saw blood running down like tap water. It was all over his clothes. He could barely open his eyes. His head swelled double its size. He passed out. Song Tao was released in early July. On July 18, police invited him to have a little talk, and he went.
However, he never came back. The police ordered on the spot to have him locked up in a labor camp for 3 years. It was an extrajudicial arbitrary order.
While Song Tao was in Qingdao labor camp, I was not allowed to visit. On September 26th, he was transferred to the first labor camp of Shandong province, where they attempted to force him to renounce his belief in Falun Gong. On November 4th, they told me he was seriously ill.
The next day, they said he had passed away.
Without my consent, they cremated his body. We were given just an urn. Song Tao was only 28 years old when he died.
The labor camp didn't give us any documentation to explain the reason for his death. There was no death certificate, no coroner's report, no autopsy. Fair to say, his death was suspicious. That was in November 2000. His child was about 11 months old.
When the urn came, Yun said, "This is your dad. Your dad is there. Go kiss your dad." The child climbed from the chair onto the table and kissed the urn.
It was like a bolt from the blue. I never thought this would happen to us. Song Tao was so young, such an outstanding person. I was utterly shocked. We learned from informants that Song Tao died from repeated shocking by electric batons. Around October 2000, the officers in the camp went to Ma Sanjia labor camp, where they received training on how to convert Falun Gong practitioners. They were authorized to abuse electric batons for that purpose.
I wrote complaints against the labor camp to the Intermediate People's Procuratorate of Shandong Province, Ministry of Supervision, National People's Procuratorate. None of them responded to me or inquired about the murder of my husband. Instead, the police were wiretapping, monitoring, and stalking me. The police threatened to send me to the labor camp for 3 years. My mom has cancer. My child is a toddler. If I was taken away, who would take care of them?
When Song Tao was killed, my mom was devastated. The chronic cough she had previously that had disappeared came back. She was diagnosed with lung cancer.
In 1999, my brother graduated from college. While he was in Beijing for continued education in computer science, the persecution campaign against Falun Gong started. On July 20th, 1999, Jiang Zemin initiated the CCP's persecution campaign against Falun Gong, utilizing all print and broadcast media, plunging the entire nation into a reign of terror. Overnight, the immensely popular and officially proclaimed Falun Gong was labeled a so-called cult in China. Many practitioners were arbitrarily arrested. My brother had been very kind from his childhood. He was so soft-spoken that you could barely hear him. Once he went to the farmer's market with my grandma. On their way back, he was nudging my grandma. We shouldn't nickel and dime the farmers. They work so hard. Let's give them some money back. He was very gentlemanlike in nature. Our parents divorced in our childhood, and the three of us were raised by our grandparents. People often look at children whom are without their parents strangely, so we stayed close to each other. When I returned home to share Falun Gong with him, he immediately followed me to begin practicing without any questions. After cultivation, he became healthier and more positive and optimistic. Our family literally lived in poverty, and life was bitter back then, but my brother started to see things in a whole new light. He was popular with his friends. He was good at making friends. He was an open, outgoing person. My brother and many practitioners benefited from the practice that made them healthier and better people and believed that Falun Gong was good for the country and its people. So they went to Beijing to petition against the CCP's crackdown. Their appeal was peaceful. They wanted to tell the government, "We're all good citizens, the crackdown isn't right," or "Let's get the facts straight." Many practitioners went to Beijing in the droves to petition. He was detained in February 2000 in Beijing and sent to a labor camp. In the summer of 2001, he was released from the labor camp, but the police still wanted him to report daily on his thoughts about Falun Gong and continued to pressure him not to practice. My brother didn't like that. He ran away from home. The police hunted him down all over China because he refused to renounce his faith and fled from the police. In China, everyone knows that cracking down on Falun Gong is the top priority of the party. It's the Chinese Communist Party's desire to eradicate the Falun Gong community. After my brother ran away, the police harassed all my relatives. "Don't play tricks, turn him in," they'd say. The police were ferocious and rude, often even interrogating my relatives all through the night. They suspended my brother-in-law from his work and forced him to go search for my brother. When he was on the run, my brother only contacted me and the overseas practitioners using payphones. He dared not to reach out to other family members, concerned that he might cause trouble for them or expose his whereabouts to the police. He wandered about, homeless for 2 years. During that time, all he did was raise awareness about the persecution of Falun Gong, handing out DVDs and pamphlets. Later, he planned to intercept TV signals to broadcast uncensored content about Falun Gong. He believed sharing the truth about the senseless persecution was his sacred mission. Danger was lurking around every corner.
My sister was kidnapped by police in May 2001 for handing out materials with truth of Falun Gong. My dad carried her daughter Rong Rong to the police station asking for her release. As soon as she was let out, she fled from home.
In July or August 2001, my daughter went to my previous employer's place in Sichuan province, and she would often call me. We talked frequently over the phone. Later, our friends in Sichuan told me she had left for Shandong province. After she returned to Shandong, I lost contact with her.
Multiple sources confirmed she had been jailed by the police in Qingdao.
Someone knew she was held in cell 208, Dashan Detention Center in Qingdao City. I learned about it at the end of April 2002. I went there on April 30th, but the staff were on holiday. On May 8th, I visited again and brought with me her personal belongings and some cash. 2 guards searched on the computer, then accepted the cash and the stuff I brought in. They are not supposed to accept those if the person is not there. A few days later, however, they called me and said, "We don't have Yun. Your daughter is not here."
A police insider said he overheard the conversation between police officers when they said the abduction of my sister was ordered by the Shandong Provincial Police.
On April 19, 2003, my brother was expecting an overseas practitioner to bring him equipment to intercept the TV signals across China. After receiving the equipment, he went to Yunnan province by train the next day. Before he left, he said when he arrived at the destination he would contact me again, but I never received any call from him, not then or ever since. 2 sources of information came in. One was from a journalist with Epoch Times who phoned the police branch bureau in Yangpu District, Shanghai, where my brother had disappeared. She talked to Director Hu was in charge of the 1st Division of the branch, a department dedicated to abducting Falun Gong practitioners. The director admitted over the phone that he had my brother, but after the overseas news report came out, he denied it. Another source was a human rights lawyer in Shanghai. He had friends inside the police department. The insider confirmed that police did take my brother into custody, yet had no idea where he was sent to. Given the circumstances, I could tell the police must have kidnapped him, yet they denied it. I wondered what they were hiding.
我们在车上等着，突然有敲门，门打开之后，看到4个军人压着一个人，我们赶紧把他抬上车。我们把他平放在黑色塑料袋上，医生告诉我让我踩住他，不要让他动。他的双脚被一种特制的很细的纤维的绳子捆住，他的双手反绑在后面，有一根绳子绕过他的脖子。这时候看到他喉部有血，是流动的鲜血，可以肯定他是有伤口。一个医生拿着手术刀，直接从肩突下做大切口，切到脐下，打开腹腔，一下子肠子都冒出来。这时候对面的医生快速的找到一侧肾，告诉我赶快剪动静脉。医生的动作非常熟练，很快2侧肾脏都取出来，放在恒温盒里。同时我对面的医生让我去取眼球。当我望向他时，我看到他十分恐惧的眼，我从来没有见过这么恐惧的眼。
In late 2002, when I was in Vancouver, Canada, a Falun Gong practitioner gave me a note with a message. He got a message from a Falun Gong practitioner in China. An inmate from Shandong female prison knew that my sister was held there in secret detention indefinitely. We will try our best to search for those who were forcibly disappeared. What's done in the dark will come to light.
When we got on the train, we found out it was a cattle car without a roof. But it didn't have a cattle inside. It had Falun Gong practitioners who had been to Beijing. They were handcuffed to steel beams on top of the carriage, like chicken to be roasted. The fellow soldier and I were petrified. We stood there, holding our submachine guns, dumbfounded.
From 2000 to 2001, millions of Falun Gong practitioners went to Beijing to petition. Beijing police estimated that during the peak time, the number of Falun Gong petitioners was about 1 million per day. At the beginning, the police would round them up and send them back to their hometowns, after which the local police would continue persecuting them. Their families, friends, and employers would also be implicated. In order not to implicate their families and employers, many Falun Gong practitioners refused to disclose their identity to the police. They couldn't be sent back to their hometowns, so they were jailed in labor camps, prisons, schools, stadiums, and other places. Many were transferred to undisclosed locations, detained incommunicado, and disappeared.
Taiwanese patients went to mainland China for transplants starting in late 2000, a sudden surge. After sending their records to a Chinese hospital, usually after 1 week, they would hear back that a matching organ had been found for them.
Since late 1999, China's organ transplant industry has been growing explosively. For instance, before 1999, only 19 hospitals could perform liver transplants. Yet after 1999 and until 2005 and 2006, more than 500 hospitals were doing that. In terms of volume, for instance, from 1991 to 1998, in that 8-year period, there was a total of 78 liver transplant cases, while from 1999 to 2006, there was a total of 14,085 cases, on an average of 1,760 per year. How much is the growth rate? Over 180 times. Let's put it into perspective. China's liver transplant registry stated in its 2006 annual report that whole liver transplants accounted for 97.7% of all cases. Namely, most of the transplants were whole liver transplants, rather than partial liver transplants. One liver, one life.
中国大陆没有器官的捐献的体系，当时我们是全部来自于死刑犯。
As we all know, China's capital punishment numbers have been decreasing each year.
Even if you used all of the prisoners on death row for organ harvesting, it wouldn't come anywhere near explaining the source of all the organs for all these transplant operations that you're doing.
另外一个方面，这个死囚器官的质量是非常不好的，器官的来源要求也十分严格的，在刑场上是拿不到这样的。
I've gone through a lot of Wang Jiefu's statements, comparing them one to the other. There's many contradictions. In the past, we have taken Chinese government official statements of overall transplant volumes of 10,000 a year at face value. However, the Chinese government statistics for transplant volumes are not necessarily reliable.
The figures that we get from the London Tribunal on organ harvesting indicate that somewhere between 60,000 and 90,000 transplants take place every year. It's very clear that you're performing a huge number of organ transplants every year, and you can't tell us where they come from. Between 1999 and 2000, you have a sudden increase. Suddenly the curve just sharply, really sharply went up. Just happened to coincide with the beginning of the persecution of Falun Gong. And that resulted from a fiat coming from then President Jiang Zemin, who announced his objective to erase Falun Gong from Chinese society.
China liver transplant registration project was started in early 2005. More than 8,000 cases had been collected up to December of 2006. Among 4,300 cases with available data for timing manner, 1,150 cases were of emergency operations, which was as high as 27%. The shortest time to start the operation was 4 hours after the patient was admitted.
That is to say, 1/4 of the donors are on standby for when they're needed. Those on-demand organs cannot all be from the inmates on death row. The U.S. has 120 million voluntary donors, advanced national donation systems, and distribution networks. The U.S. Department of Health 2007 report says the waiting time for liver and kidney transplantation, on average, is between 2 to 3 years. However, in mainland China after 1999, the average waiting time has been 1 to 2 weeks.
The hospitals said it would take them several days or 1 week to find a matching organ. They are still offering that. They said, if you pay more, we can get it done faster.
Unless you have a herd of human beings standing by waiting to be killed for their organs. That's the only way that you can produce organs on demand.
很长一段时间，无论白天还是晚上，我的眼前总是显现出恐怖的场面：手术衣、白手套、口罩，还有那十分恐惧的眼神。他真是看着我。 他的眼皮还在动，他是活的。我当时全身发抖，虚弱无力。我跟对面医生说：“我做不了，我实在做不了。”我想到了头天晚上，军官跟我们负责人说，他还不到18岁。这时我对面的医生用左手狠狠地 把他的头摁在地板上，用左手的2个手指把住他的上眼皮，右手握住止血钳，一弯，他整个眼球就出来了。我看着他们把这个人用2米多长的塑料口袋套住之后，后面车门 的军人把他拖到了一个带棚的军用卡车上。我们的车以特别快的速度往陆军总院返回。我们把器官送到手术室，有另一批医生在手术台上做好了准备。我很快地离开了沈阳陆军总院。
I didn't know how long it took. Finally, the train arrived at the destination, 苏家屯, Shenyang.
我从辽宁省卫生厅和沈阳市的这个卫生局领导人会餐当中呢，我很偶然的听到了苏家屯这个名字，在这个秘密的这么一个关押的这么一个地点，他竟然在买卖这个人的内脏，是在买卖人的内脏。
大家好，我叫安妮，我是苏家屯医院的运动职工。
My name is Annie. My ex-husband and I worked with this hospital from 1999 to 2004. My ex-husband performed the operation to remove organs from Falun Gong practitioners. On behalf of him, I send you my deepest apologies.
Annie said her ex-husband had removed corneas from more than 2,000 living Falun Gong practitioners. We were shocked at the news. Our colleagues at World Organization to Investigate the Persecution of Falun Gong decided to investigate the issue. That night, we phoned the hospital. We talked to the workers in the boiler room who told us they had burned many bodies.
I know many Falun Gong practitioners are still held there. I hope the international community knows about it and saves those who are still alive.
I worry about my sister's safety. No one knows her whereabouts. I'm concerned that she might become a victim of the organ harvesting crime, so I've been searching for her everywhere. I posted on the internet, contacted elected representatives, talked to media, and held press conferences. I made a lot of phone calls to China, including Dashan Detention Center in Qingdao, Shandong Female Prison, and Shandong Provincial Prison Administration. They either told me they don't have her, or said she had been transferred out, but most of the time they didn't answer the phone.
Our family has been searching for him over the years. We asked both the local and provincial police. They were very rude to us, even blaming our family for his disappearance. They said, "You are hiding him. Most people don't have this problem. Why has your boy disappeared?"
In Qingdao City, from the police station to the Public Security Bureau, various government agencies and the party committees of all levels, they all brushed me off. Even the lowest level police supervisors have never allowed me to talk with them.
I contacted my congressman who wrote letters to the Chinese Foreign Ministry asking for assistance. This caused the police to change their attitude as they felt pressure from the international community. They told my family, "Be quiet, we will search for you." Yet, they're still covering up the truth. When the police officers from my hometown went to Shanghai to inquire about it, the Shanghai police simply ignored them, replying, "That's none of our business."
The police and judicial system have been colluding with each other to carry out the persecution. They don't even bother to check any record for the persecuted families.
I often visited the local petition office. I wrote a letter to the mayor at that time. They said, "We don't accept letters." I said, "Do you have a rule prohibiting writing to the mayor?" "You don't."
My father also wrote open letters to the former president of China, Hu Jintao, and former premier Wen Jiabao.
I wrote to them every year. The letters were handed to the receptionists at the People's Congress, who registered my name and the subjects. There were never any reply. It's been so difficult for me. So many years. My life has been completely ruined. I am one person alone fighting against the entire state. It's just too hard. Too hard.
I feel so sorry for him. He was less than 70, but appeared older than his age, as he couldn't eat or sleep well. I told him, if you get sick, how could you search for your child? Pull yourself together. Don't give up.
In the year of the SARS outbreak, I was attending college. One of my schoolmates graduated from a nursing program and later worked at a municipal hospital. At a party, she talked about going out with doctors to extract organs. We were curious. How did you do that? She said it was not in an operating room. They were to wait at a designated location. A large van would come. The donor was in the van, tied with ropes. She remembered the first occasion well. After they removed the organs and were about to leave, that person on the floor groaned. My schoolmates looked at him, feeling regretful. She told me she was terrified at the beginning, but less so now that she has removed many organs. I asked her, "How many have you done?" She said 2 or 3 times a week.
We called all the hospitals that perform organ transplant in China.
你是中山医院对，是的病房移植肝脏移植中心吗？对，是的。我想咨询一下。等会儿啊，我再一下子好啊。喂，你好。喂，你好，你是医生吗？这个移植手术啊，可以做的。那可以要等多久啊？你说1个礼拜左右就可以做了。他有没有这种业绩的法轮功的这种提供的说是很好。这个我们都是这种。你好，你是山东千佛山医院肝脏移植中心病房吗？是啊，我想咨询一下。你稍等哈，我给你找个大夫哈。你好。你好，我想咨询一下，你们是做了多少年了？是不是也很我们从02年开始做的。提供这个肝的这个有一种说是那种建那个法轮功的那种，我就问你说有没有？好。您过来就行。就可以，就是说油啊。您这样吧，您过来那个大约4月份肯定会比较多的这样的供体，现在就供体逐渐多起来了。
Tianfoshan Hospital is about 7 miles from the provincial female prison. Public information from the hospital indicates that Dr. Zhang Yunjin founded the liver transplant department there, performing the first liver transplant in the province in early 2002, when my sister disappeared.
We quickly investigated the hospitals in major cities. The doctors from about 20 hospitals admitted that they used organs from Falun Gong practitioners.
I called several hospitals. None of the doctors or nurses who answered the phone denied the allegations. A male doctor at Xijin Hospital in Xi'an City indicated over the phone that Falun Gong practitioners were political detainees, and thus you could dispose of them at will. You don't have to make many phone calls before you're fined. That's a shocking reality.
I've been so disturbed that I often have nightmares. Why? The doctors were talking delightfully. Hurry up, come here, we can do it for you in no time. What does that mean? They will kill someone for you. But we don't have the power to save that person immediately. We can't inform the public fast enough about the mass killing and stop it right away.
In the Western countries, one may have heard occasionally that organs were stolen, but this is utterly different. In China, who can forcibly remove organs from prisoners? It must be state action.
I found out many staff in the public health office knew about it. They told me if you spoke out, neither you nor your family could survive. It's a state crime.
The communist regime waited 3 weeks before they called upon the U.S. embassy from Beijing to check the Suzhuaten hospital. And then they took 3 weeks to prepare for those people to come to visit.
Transferring 5,000 people only takes 1 day. I saw the transfer trains from Jianjing to Jilin. It's designated closed cargo trains escorted by armed soldiers, carrying more than 7,000 detainees at once and running at night.
In 2006, a senior military doctor from Shenyang wrote to Epoch Times, indicating that after 1999, concentration camps that hold large numbers of Falun Gong detainees for organ transplants had been scattered all over China, about 36 in total.
From the documents I saw, the largest camp is in Jilin province, numbered 672S, holding more than 120,000 Falun Gong detainees. But now, the bulk of the Falun Gong incarcerated population are kept at prisons, labor camps, and detention centers. Large transfers only occur when necessary.
China has many underground military facilities. Some are secretive, so it won't be difficult for the military to concentrate Falun Gong detainees together for extermination.
Since the 1980s, they have been using the prisoners on death row for transplants. China has official documents and regulations to legalize that.
中共军方早就系统性的完成了器官移植的整个流程，已经有大量的活摘器官的经验。这次由于迫害法轮功，他找到了大量的器官供体。
It was between 2000 and 2001 when numerous Falun Gong practitioners petitioned to Beijing, while not disclosing their identities. In March 2006, when Annie came forward, she testified that the detainees in Sujiatong concentration camp were transferred there from prisons, labor camps, or directly kidnapped from parks and residential areas. There were no arrest warrants or judicial supervision. Their families were not informed at all. Most Falun Gong detainees have been blood tested. Many who are yet to be detained are also required to be tested. It is probable that the regime has created a database for organ transplants.
In December 2005, a practitioner from a different cell and I were handcuffed together and brought to the hospital for medical exams. I asked the doctor, "Why did you check my health?" They used a large needle and drew a large tube of blood from my body. They showed particular interest in my heart. The doctors were staring at the screen and asked me, "Why is your heart so small? Did your family have a history of heart diseases?" "Oh, yes. My father died from a heart disease." Then they were disappointed and said, "Well, forget it."
Anyone chosen as an organ donor will be taken away from the prison, labor camp, detention center, or concentration camp. Their name will be replaced with a number, which corresponds to a fake voluntary donor with a fake name. I have dealt with over 60,000 forged organ donation consent forms.
Under the extermination policies, tens of thousands of Falun Gong practitioners have been allegedly disappeared by the authority. In the international human rights law, we call this forced disappearance. Where are they? Have they been the involuntary donors for the CCP's transplant business since 2000 to date?
My mother passed away in August 2002. Had the persecution not happened, she would have been around. My mother had been longing to know my sister's whereabouts, missing her a lot. The loss of my mother was devastating to me. It tore me to pieces because she loved me so much. I couldn't understand why the CCP persecuted Falun Gong. I had left China before that. When the persecution started, I called my sister, discouraging her from practicing. I was very rude to Song Tao over the phone, but he didn't argue with me. I could tell from the way he spoke and acted that he is a very good person. My family had been happy. I wanted to figure out why this happened to us, so I spent most of my free time to learn the truth of Falun Gong from minghui.org. The site offered uncensored content. I read thoroughly until my questions were answered. I was curious why they like Falun Gong so much. Then I read Falun Gong books. I found nothing wrong with them. Practitioners are good people, but have been persecuted. So the government must be wrong. The CCP has been spending taxpayers' money to censor honest information, distort the facts, and control the narratives on media, so the injustice against Falun Gong has yet to be redressed.
The best part of 3 years, as I recall, they were carried on every television station and every outlet of print media in China that just painted a picture of Falun Gong practitioners as being absolute monsters and utterly depraved criminal people. So they created such a hatred that I think there's almost an indifference maybe amongst a lot of the Chinese public in terms of what may be happening to Falun Gong.
I heard someone saw Yun at Dashen Detention Center. I notified her father, telling him to bring all the photos of Yun. We left early in the morning, 2 fellow practitioners, Jim and me, 4 of us.
The CCP has long been wiretapping the cell phones of Falun Gong practitioners. Even when you turn it off, the CCP police can still listen in on our conversation nearby.
We have to be very careful. If we were detected by the authorities, we would be incarcerated. I was driving. It took us a long time to arrive there and found the witness. She knew Yun was an accountant and so on. That's all correct. But when Jim showed her the photos, she said, "That doesn't seem to be the person I saw." But at that time, I believed what I saw was Yun.
In early June 2016, I went to Beijing and visited the People's Congress, the State Council, the CCP Central Committee, the Supreme Court, and the party's Central Commission for Discipline Inspection, CCDI. CCDI said I should go to the State Security Ministry. State Security said I should go to Central Political and Legal Affairs Commission, CPLAC. CPLAC said they don't accept petitions. The Party Central, the State Council, and People's Congress treated us the same way. A cold-faced receptionist grabbed my envelope, typed a few words into the computer. The case was closed. I asked, "Is that all?" They said, "Yes, that's it."
I told him, "Don't give up. Take your time. Whenever you hear something, we will go there together. If you can't go, we will search for you." As fellow Falun Gong practitioners, we are close to each other like brothers and sisters. Your difficulties are mine, and my difficulties are yours. We are helping each other like that.
I went to the Supreme Procuratorate several times. Then I was let in. The rule says if you are complaining against officers higher than provincial level, you can go in. I was complaining against Chang Simin, so I signed in as a visitor. The intake officer said, "I can't accept your complaint." I asked, "Why? Do you know why I'm complaining, Chang Simin?" The 2 people besides her said, "No, we can't take it." I replied, "Your rule says you accept complaints against officials higher than provincial level, right?" Someone said, "Okay, give it to me." He took away my documents. About 20 minutes later, 2 state security officers, together with several Secret Service agents, came out. They encircled me while videotaping me without my consent. One state security officer in his 40s asked me, "Are you Falun Gong?" I replied, "If I were Falun Gong, my whole family would have been annihilated, and I wouldn't be able to be here today." He continued to interrogate me for several minutes, while the others were videotaping me. Then he left for another room. In about 6 to 7 minutes, he came out and said, "Well, I'm done for the day." He knew I am not Falun Gong, so he left me with the others. During the trip in Beijing, my legs were deformed and my ribs injured. I could barely breathe for about a month. It was so difficult, extremely grueling.
It's been so many years. The senior has been tormented again and again. He has exhausted all possibilities and did everything he could.
The fact that the evidence we have now examined shows a much larger volume of transplants than the government of China has asserted points us to a larger discrepancy between transplant volumes and the government of China identified sources. The increased discrepancy leads us to conclude there's been a far larger slaughter of practitioners of Falun Gong for their organs than we had originally estimated.
My sister was very healthy. She disappeared at the age of 29.
My brother had been healthy since childhood, especially after practicing. He became even healthier. He disappeared at the age of 25.
My father believes my sister was incarcerated in secret detention in Shandong Provincial Female Prison. He said an insider from the government had informed him.
Large numbers of transplants have been performed all over China without identifiable sources, which indicates there could have been extermination camps in different places.
In the fall of 2002, Dalian Detention Center was expanding. I was in the 5th block, Cell 1. We were moved to a small white building beside the center and temporarily detained there. At night, after 10 p.m., the room next to us suddenly lit up. There was one small interior window between the two rooms. It was about 2 meters high from the floor. Some inmates wanted to see through that window, so they formed a human ladder. The inmate at the base stood up, then the other one on his shoulder could see through the window. He was so frightened. He said, "I never knew killing a person is like gutting a hog. Heart, liver and lungs, everything brutally taken out." Then the inmate at the bottom also wanted to take a peek, so they took turns. It happened almost every night, sometimes 2 or 3 times per night. Many inmates there saw that.
The 610 office has been checking on my family, threatening us, particularly trying to silence me.
This 610 office has no legal basis whatsoever. It's nothing that the civil government has enacted. It's simply an announcement from the president that this office will circumvent the courts and perform judgments, in effect, on Falun Gong practitioners. And this office can disappear them, send them to labor camps, do anything they like with them. The majority of people who have their organs harvested have never been before a court.
Someone from the 610 office came to my home and said to me, "Let's go to the Shandong female prison to search for her." I replied, "Even if there were only 2 cells, you could still hide her from me. Why go there? Never. I just want my child back. You have her."
When Falun Gong practitioners disappear, their families dare not search for them, because it is the police who abducted them. If you go search for their whereabouts, the police could kidnap you too.
It's such a horrendous totalitarian state. A single candle can illuminate an entire room. If more people joined us and lift the light, we could disperse the darkness and save many lives.
王杰夫正式宣布，从2015年1月1日起，全面停止使用死囚器官作为移植供体来源。
我们一定是这个不要就是有这个死囚捐献这几个字。
Huang Jiefu admitted they have been harvesting organs from death row inmates, but not prisoners of conscience.
I would say generally, the responsibility of the government of China is to provide verifiable data that independent researchers could look at and come to their own conclusions about. Simply having a spokesperson say this is what's happening is not sufficient. The international standard is transparency, traceability, accountability from independent outsiders.
They have no transparency. They've never allowed the international community to independently verify their organ procurement practice in the past 17 years. The changes in law are merely hollow gestures.
We investigated Beijing Red Cross in December 2015. They told us the donor scheme is still a fledgling project and not operational yet. The staff from Shanghai Red Cross said Shanghai had 5 donations in total.
So-called voluntary organ transplant registry is a farce. I mean, it didn't even exist until just a few years ago.
From January 2015 to June 2016, our investigation indicated organ transplants were conducted all over China in large volume. Organs were abundant, and the wait times were still extremely short.
6月13号晚，美国国会众议院一致通过了343号决议案，要求中共立即停止针对法轮功学员和其他良心犯的强摘器官行为，结束对法轮功的迫害。
列入那个就是追查国际名单，就涉嫌活摘法轮功学员，看这个刑你怎么回应？美国的国会议案也通过，就谴责中国活摘法轮功学员343议案，欧洲议会也通过了，你怎么回应？就涉嫌活摘杀人的事情，我们是媒体，请您公开回应，请您公开回应。对，法轮功学员也在门口抗议，你怎么看？
Organ pillaging from Falun Gong practitioners is not merely for profit. The CCP has employed it as a method of torturous execution to eradicate the group. It works like this. First, they force you to renounce your belief under torture. After they have exhausted all sorts of brainwashing, mental and physical torture methods, if the person still holds on to their belief, their organs will be forcibly removed while they are still alive and conscious. It is a form of torturous execution. At the same time, the CCP uses the huge profit from the sale of organs as an incentive to induce the murderers to carry out the genocide. A policeman from Liaoning province witnessed the scene of extracting organs from a live female Falun Gong practitioner. To clear his conscience, he contacted us and testified to what he saw.
再想起来，那些法轮功学员们怎么打？只要他们同意2件事：第一个是签保证书以后不再练；第二个骂一句，只要他那个完成这2个事就放他，要么就判他10年。他们就是这2件举手就能做的事，硬是不说，你怎么打他都不做这件事。非常有刚，用东北话说是有刚，非常的坚强，为了信念，为了信仰。 可以放弃一切，很值得人敬佩。在东北的辽宁锦州，2002年4月9日，这个人呢是一个老师啊，就是在中学教书的老师。在这之前呢，他受过的羞辱更大呀。我们的民警有不少啊，就是比较变态那种的，对他进行这个属于是猥亵吧。 对他进行这个强暴太多了，我们经历了得有1个星期对他的审问、严刑拷打，身上已经有无数次伤疤，并且电棍电。这个时候，可能辽宁省公安厅某办公室吧，反正是一个挺保密的部门，派了2个，一个是解放军沈阳陆军总医院的一个军医，还有一个是第2军大学毕业的。 给他送精神病院的一个手术室，然后 后进行一套东西。当时我们一人拿一把手枪在旁边站岗，不打任何麻药。手术刀在胸脯一刀下去，血是喷溅出来的，血是喷溅出来的。那个女人就嗷嗷大叫一声，说法轮大法好，你杀了我一个人，你还能杀了我们好几亿人呢？为了自己真正的信仰被你们迫害的人吗？那个军医犹豫了一下，然后看了我一眼，又看了我们的领导一眼，领导点了一个头，他还继续的。我一直不信，但是看了之后，他们这个勇气太让人震惊了。人再大的忍耐力，锋利的手术刀一点一点拉开你的胸脯的时候，你心脏在里边跳，血喷溅出来。这个时候还是说法轮大法好。我一想起他那一瞬间，我感觉对不起他。我救不了他们，我救不了他们。
这个事情发生在中国。
What happens in China is testing our values. After World War II, we asked, why did the Holocaust happen? It's because of ignorance and indifference. One day when the truth comes out, we'll have it on our conscience. During the persecution, what did we do? Even if you only spread a word of truth, that's still commendable.
“我希望这样事情在人类永远不要再发生。” OK。
Conclusions of certainty that the tribunal reached that forced organ harvesting had happened in multiple places in the PRC and on multiple occasions for a period of at least 20 years and is continuing. The tribunal is certain that it was indeed the Falun Gong who were used as a source, possibly the principal source, of organs for forced organ harvesting. That the PRC and its leaders actively incited the persecution, the imprisonment, the murder, the torture, and the humiliation of Falun Gong practitioners with the sole purpose of eliminating the practice of and belief in the value of Falun Gong.
I did want to point out that this isn't a China problem, it's a communism problem. Of course, the victims here are almost entirely, if not entirely, Chinese. I mean, we who are standing for the victims are doing more, we're more pro-China, more standing up for China than the Communist Party of China is.
He might have left for heaven, but I always feel his heart is still with me. A few days after his disappearance, I had a vivid dream about my brother being kidnapped by the rogue cops, beaten so badly that he couldn't bear it. The dream is so real. Because as brothers, we are connected by the heart. My brother told me generally, Falun Gong practitioners were beaten up badly. My whole family has been worrying about him, wondering where he is. We often talk about him. He's such a kind, optimistic young boy. Now he has disappeared without a trace. Our family has been grieving over this for many years.
She has been unreachable for so many years. A mother always misses her child. If she is alive, supposedly, she could have arranged to see her child in private. Or if it was too dangerous to phone her family, she could have asked someone to pass on a message. But there was no message at all.
My grandma passed away in 2006. Her last agony. She held on lingering for 7 or 8 days before departing. Some say the lingering death is quite painful, as the person can still feel the pain. My grandma hung on for 7 or 8 days. Our family said she was waiting to see my younger brother, yet she couldn't see him again.
I was diagnosed with fatal diseases. The doctor told me last August, but I declined any medical treatment. This January, it got worse. The doctors tried to convince me to accept treatments. I said no. There is no point in living. I have gotten nowhere. I have no way out.
As parents, we all think this way. As long as there is a thread of hope, we would hang on to it. He still hopes one day his daughter will come back. He hopes to see her before he finally closes his eyes.
For more than 10 years, I had been severely depressed. Starting from 2001, when I learned about Song Tao's death, until 2011, I had been weeping buckets in deep sorrow. For 7 or 8 years, I had been sobbing almost every day. When walking on streets or staying at home, I was often weeping, exhausting my tears. I couldn't continue my studies or hold a regular job. Once, when thinking of the victims killed for their organs, I cried for a long time. While I cried, it started to drizzle. I felt the heavens were weeping together with me.
Now I recall, before he went to Shanghai to retrieve the equipment for a TV signal interception, he mailed many personal things to me, including his best suits, which also fit me well, his dress shirts, ID and bank cards. He didn't want to disclose his real identity in case he might be caught by the police. Back then I wondered why he mailed those to me. Now I get that he might have foreseen something. Mr. Chung Jun Liu had been tortured to death because of intercepting TV signals to broadcast uncensored content about Falun Gong. My brother was like a hero on a mission, about to embark on his one-way trip.
Why are so many people standing firm in their faith? Because it is real. It must be real. When I realized that the Creator is up there with us, I gradually put myself back together. I enlightened that God truly exists. It came to me when I was clear-headed. I felt like I was suddenly awakened. I knew Falun Dafa is the humanity's hope and started to follow the teachings. Gradually, I stopped feeling depressed. My sister is a Falun Gong practitioner, and Falun Gong teaches people to be kind and good. A good person will eventually be blessed. It doesn't matter if she's still alive or dead. She will have a good future. In the end, when we get to heaven, we will see each other again.
2月26号，年仅57岁的青岛大学肝脏移植专家臧运金死亡。青岛大学没有公布他的死因。公开资料显示，臧运金还曾担任过山东省千佛市医院肝脏移植科主任，至今完成肝脏移植手术超过2600例。有当地人向大纪元爆料说，臧运金是跳楼自杀，也有人在推特上透露称，他是从医院16层楼跳下身亡的。
hope to let Chinese people know the truth about Falun Gong and the senseless persecution. When they know Falun Gong is good, they will not be deceived by the CCP's hatred propaganda.
If the CCP doesn't dissolve, the truth won't come out. You'll never know what happened to my younger brother. I hope the CCP will dissolve soon, so that the mystery surrounding his forced disappearance will be revealed to the public.
When I see tens of thousands of people quitting the CCP and its affiliated organizations every day, I see the hope for China and the hope for the world.